So thank you for everyone for being here. Today marks 212 days we have completed 30 full weeks, and now we start the 31st week since Albany County's first COVID-19 case was identified on March 12th. Well, we've had difficult times because of the health crisis, economic struggles we've been facing. Mother Nature has thrown us an October storm that brought down trees, power lines across the capital regions. Tens of thousands of Albany County residents lost their power. More than 24 hours it's been going on. 31,323 people are still without power, and Sheriff Apple will talk about all that. National Grid has brought us in extra crews, and I was working with the president of Siena College last night, and it was interesting talking to Chris that we were working to restore the power back at Siena College, and 911 informed us they no longer work 24 hours. They end at 11:30, and we'll be back at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, what happened to the 24-hour days? But to the men and women of National Grid, thank you for what you're doing and getting the power back on the people. I know they brought extra crews up for the outage, but this means calling them at this number, please, 1-800-867-5222, or go online at www.nationalgrid.com and report your outage if your power is still on. I want to thank the sheriff before I hand over to him for stepping up and during this. Not just I'll let him talk about his 911 and everything else, but he was working with National Grid to hand out water and dry ice yesterday at Crossgates Mall. Thank you for the invite, Sheriff. I went over and saw the men and women there, and I couldn't believe how long the line was for people that were trying to get dry ice. I know today they're going to be there all day until 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 to 5 if need be. But again, thanks for the Sheriff's Department and National Grid for coordinating that and making sure people are getting what they have. What we've been working on, DPW, we cleared out Voorheesville to Slingerlands, the trailhead, with the trees that were knocked down. So there's so many trees down, though, blocking the trail between different parts of it. We're working on that to get it open. I know people called. But we do have a lot of roads that we cover throughout the county, so we've been working on that. That's our first priority, the rail trail. We are trying to get to it. I couldn't believe how many numbers I got on that. I'm like, so I gave out the sheriff's personal cell phone number to him. I said call him and he'll address the issues with the rail trail and the other stuff. But, there's a lot going on, so please give us time to get the power to the people that need power, and then that stuff becomes secondary. I hate to say that. But again, to all the supervisors and mayors that I talked to yesterday as I traveled around the county and talked to them and saw the damage throughout the county, it hit us. And it reminded me of the October storms we had in the early 80s when we were shut down for a week and other things that have happened. But we'll get through it. It's just a lot thrown at us. I think everyone's, I hate to say this, ready for 2020 to be over with. I could take a vote on it, and I don't want to say, that other magical thing, more stuff could happen, but let's just get through this, and we'll get through it together. And again, the sheriff will give you the 911 number and his non-emergency number, which I imagine he's going through the roof with everything at 518-765-2352, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. But to his emergency management and all the stuff that they do, and I can't thank him enough, but let Sheriff Affel explain what he's been doing, his men and women, the Sheriff's Department, and doing a phenomenal job, not just here in the city of Albany since the riots and everything and the uneasiness in the city, but throughout the whole county. So, Sheriff.
Thanks, County Executive. It's been a trying few days, but I want to give kudos to all of the municipalities that have reached out. We've held countless a number of emergency manager Zoom conferences and teleconferences. It was a tough storm. It kind of hit everybody quick, and you can see what we're dealing with. Within 2 hours, our 911 center processed through 2,609 911 calls. Colony got hit the hardest with about 980 of those calls. We had calls rolling over from Rensselaer County, Saratoga County. The 911 system actually worked seamlessly considering the amount of lines that were down, but that's why we invest so much in infrastructure. A couple things that I want to mention real quick. We've had a couple house fires, nothing today, thank God, but yesterday we did early on. not just from the power outages, but from people running generators. If you're going to run a generator, please keep it outside, a safe distance away. Keep the gas away from the generator. People are running them in their houses. They're running them in their garages. There's also a carbon monoxide fear if you're running it in your garage. So please make sure you keep it outside. Plug your necessary, whether it's a refrigerator or a coffee maker, whatever the case may be, but please do not backfeed that generator into your house. That's pushing electricity out onto the lines and can injure the national grid people that are trying to help us all get our power back. So just a couple important facts there, please. Also, the lines that are down, please keep away from. As the lines get hot, they will start charging these lines. The lines can jump 25 to 30 feet and obviously injure you more. So there's some dangerous locations out there still. We have one main thoroughfare that is still closed. That's State Route 85A. That grid is working diligently to try to get that one back open. They've been working hard. We've been on the phone with Tom Diacetes from that grid hourly, giving us updates and pushing information back and forth. I also want to give kudos to Central Hudson. They have a small portion of power in the southern end of the county. And they've been great to work with. They've actually helped get our towers back online. A couple of them took chainsaws, walked into the woods, found some lines that were running through the woods, and cut trees out. So it's been a big help. It's been a really big help, and everybody's chipping in. I also want to give kudos to one of our dispatchers that in the midst of the chaos of 2,609 911 calls was able to help a mom deliver a baby. It was a premature baby. She delivered one of a set of twins. She talked her through the childbirth and talked her through on how to tie off the umbilical cord. And then our paramedics got there, quickly got mom and the baby in the ambulance to shoot up to the hospital and deliver another one. Because the roads were down, they had to use what's called the crash gate on the thruway. They got onto the thruway, had to make a U-turn, and then go back north, and were involved in an accident with a tractor trailer, struck the rear of the ambulance. One of our paramedics was slightly injured, but mom was still okay, holding on to the preemie, and I believe everybody is doing well now at the hospital. But in the midst of all that chaos, normal police work and EMS work still goes on. So kudos to them. I think that's about all I had to talk about. I will say, I know that NatGrid is getting crushed with phone calls. They have about 33,000 still out. But people need to understand that it was vital to get some of the critical infrastructure back on before they start turning on switches. But if you are a person in need of some special, whatever it may be as far as dialysis or oxygen systems and you need power, contact your local police department. They can reach out to us. We have a unit that takes care of that, and we'll do the best we can to help you. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. And you think you're having a bad day, and then you hear about having a preemie and then getting hit with a tractor trailer. It's when I heard that story yesterday, I couldn't believe it. And to your men and women that get the job done, thank you. And hopefully everyone is doing well. But for the COVID-19, as of today, there are now 3,151 positive cases of the coronavirus in Albany County, 997 people under mandatory quarantine. This is an increase of 26 positive cases overnight, 26. We had 20 new positive cases yesterday and 144 new positive cases since October the 2nd, when I did the last press conference. And 197 have been associated with UAlbany as of today. Of the new positives for today, we also know 13 had close contact to positive cases. 3 reported out-of-state travel. 2 are healthcare workers, and 8 don't have a clear source of infection at this time. Among the new positives today, we know 8 have been tracked back to the University of Albany students, which we've said before is going down. They're starting to do the right thing. They're being educated to the president, Javidan Rodriguez, thank you, and to all the schools doing the right stuff. 13,419 people have now completed quarantine, and 3,023 tested positive for the virus have recovered. That's an increase of 23 recoveries since yesterday. And again, just to give a quick rundown, since the 2nd of October to the 9th, we went to 28, 23, 17, 13, 15, 27 again, 20, and 26. the total of 141, which brings me to what we really have to monitor and take care of, what we do on the control room meetings when we have them. And the reason, again, why the governor has identified the zip codes down in Orange County, Rockland County, New York City as hotspots is because of the numbers are now going up. Yes, we're doing more testing. People are getting more testing. So, yes, you're going to get more positive results. You're going to see that. It's the hospitalization rate. On the 2nd of October, we had 4 people in the hospital and 1 in the ICU, and unfortunately, an Albany County resident lost their life that day. As of today, there's 8 people currently in the hospital with a hospitalization rate of 0.25 of those who've tested positive. Day before it was 0.22. 2 patients currently in the ICU. Yesterday the number was 2 of the same. That's the number we look at, because in the beginning of this, that's when the hospitalization people are in the ICU, on ventilators. That's how it was affecting people differently. Listen, I can't argue with anyone, or I shouldn't say argue, have the debate with people on the street or on Facebook or questions. Look, we are getting, it's there. It hasn't gone away till we get a vaccine to take care of this. This is where we're going to be at. I'm hoping wearing these masks for the last 4 or 5 months, that's going to keep the flu season down, so we're not going to see the flu spike up. We're not going to see the cases. But I don't want to get into that zip code like Orange County, Rockland, and New York City got into. We need to continue to do the right thing. But if the hospitalizations continue to go up, they're going to start shutting things down again. And we need to keep things open. We need to get back to the economy up and running, because it's like, I hate to say it, it's like that little book, the little engine that could. And as you start that engine up again and you start going up that hill, it's going to take time. And I've said this to a reporter from the TU yesterday that, look, I'm not worried about next year. It's 2021 too. I'm really worried about with the economy, because the hotels that are going to shut down, the restaurants that aren't going to survive, the businesses that aren't going to survive, it's going to have a financial impact. And what people don't realize, and I have to explain this to them, I go, the unemployment rate is still low. It's high, excuse me. But it's a lot higher because there's people that come off of it that no longer are entitled to benefits, or they own their own businesses and they weren't entitled to unemployment. So there's another number on top of that no one even pays attention to. Sometimes when that number goes down, it's just because they ran out of their benefits. It didn't mean that they found a job. It just means you can't stay on unemployment for the rest of your life. They give X amount of time on it, and then your benefits run out. So it doesn't mean necessarily that people are going back to work. It just means they ran out of benefits. That's why it's vital for the stimulus package 5, for the extra $600 and other things, because your benefits do run out. And that's why we saw SNAP and other programs in the county doubling and tripling since last year, because people lose unemployment, then they have to get county assistance, and they go on a whole new program. So please keep that in mind. I know there's people out there who think it's going to go away when the presidential race is over with. I can assure you it's not, and Dr. Whalen will speak more fluently on that than myself. But again, please, over the last 5 days, there's been an average of 20.2 new positive cases each day. Yesterday, it was 18.4. Again, as long as the hospitalization's doing okay, but I'm a little worried because it has doubled. We have to keep that in mind. It's simple. Do the right thing. Step up. Wear your mask right. Cough into your arm. Clean your hands. Stay 6 feet apart. We'll get through this. And like I've said 31 weeks ago, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Trust me. Trust Dr. Whalen, Sheriff Apple. Did we think we'd be sitting here almost 7 months later? No. Did we think we'd still be in this? No. Did we think we'd be moving on? And I can assure you, not speaking for them too, we got a lot of other things on our plate that we need to go forward on with, and we're just as tired as everyone else. I'll be honest with you, I'm tired. I'm extremely tired, but we got to get through this, and we'll get through this together. And again, being good county residents and New Yorkers, we'll get through this together, doing the right thing. So if please, as you continue to go forward, you can get your testing done as always at the University of Albany. It's free. there are plenty of places to go now, I mean, that you see that are popping up all over. Sometimes it's tough for us to keep track of all of them. Somebody's like, I went here, and they're giving the test. But for those looking to get the test done, you can go to the Albany County website for help, or the free testing at UAlbany. As always, the number is 1-888-364-3065. Our great partnership with Whitney Young, who's recognizing our doctor for all her achievements, so that's awesome. To Whitney Young, mobile testing sites also having testing available for kids if they have symptoms. Only for Whitney Young, please, if you're exposed to a positive case, call 518-465-4771. The CVS stores have the drive-through testing on 885 Central Avenue and 3916 Carmen Road, or you can go to their website, CVS. Same thing with Albany Med. Urgent care location offices, now the nasal swab, which a lot of people like the nasal swab. I like the nasal swab better than the easier one there. But so these in our Priority 1 in Gilliland, as always, who both do that and the antibody testing at 518-867-8040. If you're looking for the rapid testing that gets done in Albany County, you can go to Central Med's Urgent Care on Central Avenue, Community Care Physicians in Latham. Both will test children. So people, that's been like a big question we're getting. People want to get their kids tested. They will do children. Rite Aid in Colony, the drive-through testing, but you must go through the riteaid.com to make an appointment. And the Walgreens on Holland Ave is rapid testing, which you get back within about an hour. So it's good for people that want to know pretty quickly. Walgreens.com, and you can go on there and find out. Look, we want people to do the right thing. We want you to get onto some type of life. That's why we said we have to reimagine what everything looks like. Everyone wants to get back to normalcy. Everyone wants to get back to the way they felt life was before this. So we can, with your help, we can do this. We can get through this, and we will get through this. It's just going to be a little time, people, and we got to be patient and be patient with one another, man. It's better to, I'd say, hug it out. You can't hug it out anymore. But I'd say, it's better just give a fist pound or elbow or a foot or whatever. We'll get through it. But Dr. Whalen.
Thanks, County Executive McCoy. So as we've just heard, we are starting to see an uptick in cases in Albany County. Our numbers now on a daily basis are in the 20s, which is beginning to look a little bit more like spring. This is a caution for us, and it is for all Albany County residents, again, on the importance of reinforcing the important protective mechanisms that we've been discussing since day one. I think that, we all need to realize that our individual behavior will play into what happens in the coming days and weeks. All of you, I imagine, have been following the governor's press conferences and know that the focus now is really on looking at where hotspots are geographically. And, we have to do what we can to control the increasing numbers. If the numbers do go up, as the county executive just indicated, we are facing more shutdowns, and I know that's not what anybody wants. Every single one of you has a role in preventing that from happening. The second thing that the governor has been focused on also is the control of clusters. And what clusters are is when we start to see a specific place, whether it's a place of business, whether it's a school, whether it's a restaurant, where we see around 3 cases or more than 3 cases. And in those situations, we really need to take additional measures to control the spread. So I want to encourage those of you that are working in places of business and working in restaurants, and I know our school partners are very involved in doing this as well, that it's not just enough to have a policy that people are masked and that people are socially distanced. You really need to watch what's happening in your institution and make sure that that's happening. And it is a culture change. In the department, we started wearing masks, and it was pretty easy, I have to be honest, to adapt where we are because people understand the importance. But you don't come into our building without getting your temperature taken. You don't come into our building without a mask. If you are coming into a clinic, and we still are running our dental clinic and providing immunizations, you don't get in without a mask. If you're a delivery person, you don't get in without a mask or a temperature screening. So this is important that not only these policies exist, that but that people that are following them on a daily basis to prevent these cases and clusters from occurring. Finally, the governor has been stressing enforcement, and this is something that we've actively worked with the county executive's office and the sheriffs and others diligently on, but we need to double down in terms of what we are doing when we hear about large gatherings and when we hear about risks that are going on in the community. So please just be aware that this continues to be very important. We were concerned about a second surge in the fall from day one. And the indicators are starting to show us that this is becoming a reality. We are not currently as hard hit as other parts of the country where hospital surge capacity is challenged, but that's where we don't want to be. So we do need to double down, and we really need to make sure that we are reinforcing the important behaviors of mask wearing, social distancing, avoidance of crowds, avoidance of large gatherings, hand washing. And if you feel sick, it is important to be tested. If you are contacted by the health department and told you have been a contact and you need to quarantine, follow that advice. Or else you will put others at risk. And none of us wants to have the responsibility of getting a loved one or anyone else sick that may have a worse course of illness than you. So please take this very seriously. We continue also to work with the schools and are getting quite a lot of calls from the schools about, the guidance. Additional guidance was issued by the State Department of Health last week, and we're working with our school partners on implementation of that guidance. And I'll be having a conference call with the superintendents in the very near future to go through that. We have a very open relationship with all of the schools who contact us. We get at least several calls daily from schools with questions, and we continue to encourage that communication going backward and forward so that we can not only control the spread within schools, but control the spread among the families that are part of the school districts throughout the county.
Thank you, Dr. Whalen. And again, to the parents with small kids out there, I know the issue. If you're uncomfortable, keep them home. Let them learn from at the house, and the kids with underlying health issues. And you'd be surprised, and no one's going to advertise it, but I do feel sorry for these kids because they've been pretty much locked down for 7 months now, and keeping away for that reason. So it's tough on a lot of people, and we need to understand, and we'll get through it. So I do want to say, please, people, continue to do the right stuff with the mask. I know I sound like a broken record. I can say records are back, right? And for the young crowd out there that is used to CDs, yeah, you too, I'm looking at. The young crowd out there with the CDs and stuff, yeah, records are back. But again, if you need mental health support available 7 days a week, it's now available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as always. I want to thank them also for the great partnership here in Albany County with that 518-269-6634. The 24-hour sexual assault hotline number, as always, 518-447-7716. Karen Ziegler and her team, thank you. And the 211 and the New York State hotline. Also want to remind people that about National Grid at Crossgates. Please, if you need the ice, get out there. I did talk to a few people that were in line. They were losing food, and look, it's a bad situation. I know people stockpiled a lot of food when this virus was going on in their freezers. Now they're afraid they're going to lose it. Food pantries, areas like that could use it. They probably have power storage. Get it to them, instead of letting it go bad. And, I was trying to make this husband and wife laugh a little bit. And I'm like, look, have a cookout. I'll come over tomorrow and, we'll see how the food is. But on a serious note, though, seriously, there's people that could use that food. I hate to see you throw it out. And I know that's going to happen to a lot of people because of the power being out so long. So please make sure that happens. Crossgates is doing a great job. Paramount Mall is doing a great job up there. It was funny because I got to see, I couldn't believe how many, unfortunately, friends I had that were out of power. And then my daughter Taryn and her friend Ella were there. And my wife picked them up, and she's like, what are you doing here? And it was kind of funny, but I'm like, and then I went into a restaurant, and 2 workers that used to work for me ran out. I'm like, you don't work for me. You don't have to hide from me. But it's again, we're in this together. And as Sheriff Apple has said, numerous times, and check on your neighbor, check on your seniors, check on the people next door that need help. Don't be afraid of the COVID. Wear your mask, keep your social distancing, but make sure you check on your neighbors, because there's certain people that didn't have candles or lights to get through this, and they can get through this with your help and the kindness of the residents of this great state of New York. But thank you.